thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
Welcome to 100 Not Out, featuring your hosts Dr. Damien Christoph and Marcus Pearce.
Hello and welcome to another edition of 100 Not Out, a weekly show dedicated to helping you master the art of aging well. My name is Marcus Pearce and I am here with the incredible birthday boy, Dr. Damien Christoph. How are you, legend?
Marcus Pearce, good to see you here. Hey, happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday! Yeah, have you ever heard me sing? Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear 100 Not Out! Happy birthday to you! Oh my gosh!
Oh, last time I did this, I burnt my fingers last time when I did that. Unbelievable.
Oh, apologies if your ears exploded. Apologies if you absolutely lost it.
Absolutely. What we're gonna need to do is adjust those volumes.
Yeah. If
But
you've
hey,
lost your earbuds,
I thought you were going to come here in your birthday suit today. So all the girls out there lined up, you know, I can see Jodie Basil, Cara Henstridge,
Yeah.
I can see
Wendy
Debbie
and Dunk.
Banyard, I can see, they're all there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see Simone. She's
Yeah.
come up from the sunshine, down from the sunny
Absolutely.
coast. Donna Heathcote's over from WA. Anwin and Jan are there.
Yeah, Amanda Coventry.
Amanda.
Yeah, all over there. Steph Ryder.
Oh my gosh,
She's
there's
here a
Steph.
day. Steph's here a day early.
Is that
But, you know,
Bedford over there?
what's Ash here to see?
Oh my gosh.
In the birthday
That's incredible.
set. Jan Smith.
Kim
She's out there. I
Stanley.
can see.
I'm sure
yeah.
I see. Holy
Wally
moly.
Bortz.
This is incredible.
Demar. Even Demar's over there.
That's remarkable.
I can't believe that.
Thank you, everyone, for
Great that you
celebrating.
came. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
It's been an incredible 3 years, Dr. Damien.
156 episodes. Who would have thunk it? It's
How
amazing.
did we get here?
Well, it is. I know. How did we get here? And you think, wow, when we first started, when we did our very, very first one, there was fear, wasn't there? Anxiety. I was scared. I was going to be turning 40. You know, but here I am, 42, moving into my. I turned 43 this year. Thank you. And we interviewed only moments ago, Robin in Ikaria, and her mum was celebrating, or was it her mum? No, her husband.
Yeah.
Her husband was celebrating his 70th, right? 5 years ago, you know, and they're like, well, you know,
The
70.
Koreans were like, well, young buck.
Imagine what 40 would be. They're like, oh my gosh, how cute. I'll put my cheeks. Probably give me a little Sophie giraffe or something, you know. Oh, has they got cute cheekies? You know, because we're still so young. But it is amazing. The purpose of this episode is to kind of share some of our insights, some of the things that we've learned. And I know, and Marcus knows, that you have insights into what you've learned, and we hear them. You know, in my practice, I get to hear them. In Marcus doing his coaching calls and Exceptional Life Blueprint and all of the many things that Marcus is involved in these days, we get to hear what you have learned, and we love that. And through your messaging on Facebook and through your messaging on iTunes, the feedback, all of that, we get to hear it, which is beautiful. But it's nice, I think, for you guys to see and to hear what we've actually learned.
Well, having started these video recordings here at 100 Not Out HQ, also known as the Christoph Residence, you've been... I accidentally cut you off on one of the episodes when you were going to suggest some key summary points from Dr. Jan Smith.
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, you know what? We've learnt so much in this batch of recordings. Let's, on our third birthday, not necessarily reminisce on the 150 before that, but particularly almost as this subsection of these recent interviews. It's been a real profound experience for us just recently on some of them. So do you want to share some of your aha moments, like the listeners do, that you've experienced in this recent block of interviews?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few things, and actually, Marcus, I think the key thing, it almost stemmed from the episode that we did that was on purpose and vision and mission.
Yeah. And
when we're talking to Jan, she was sitting in this seat where I am now, and I was over there, and she said something to Marcus, which I thought was quite profound, along the lines of. She understood what her body was telling her. And I think that we do, or many of us actually become disengaged. And so some of us will go, oh, I've got a pain here, or my feet are sore, or my ankle is playing up, or my knee's sore, or my pelvis is sore, or my neck's sore, or I've had a headache, or whatever. And you don't really think about what is causing it or what the implication is. And you might go, oh yeah, I know it's that, or oh yeah, I know it's that. But what Jan was talking about was life or death. She said, my fingers are really cold and I need to stop. And her and the people who her guides actually said to her, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. She goes, no, hang on a second. I'm going to pull out something that you told me not to bring, but she brought anyway because she knew her body. And it's that high level attention to yourself, to your own body, and to what your body's telling you that she's checked into, that I think is going to help her live a long time, as well as achieve, I'm sure, many more mountain climbs than just the one that we spoke about.
So that's pretty incredible. I think what you're saying, that a lot of people, when you said disengaged, they're disengaged from their body.
Yes.
That's what you were suggesting?
Very much so. Well, they're engaged in their symptoms, but disengaged from the meaning of their symptoms. So symptoms are information, right? So symptoms mean only what you make of it. So if you've got a symptom, you could go, I've got this ache or pain, I better take something or do something to fix that ache or pain. But you could, in fact, investigate that symptom further to understand what system in your body is failing or not working well, and why isn't it working well. And then if you're looking for longevity, one of the things that would be wise to do would be to try and make your life incredible. So make the rest of your life the best of your life by addressing all those things that aren't going right. And I think that's asking yourself questions and being truthful and honest with yourself. What am I not doing well, so that I can address the underlying cause of these symptoms? This kind of goes back to that Blackboard post that I put on my blackboard at work, doesn't it? At Vita, that says if all the fish in the sea became suddenly ill or were fatigued or depressed, would we add more drugs to the ocean? Or will we look for the cause? And of course, in this case, we're saying look for the cause.
So when you talk about this, we're speaking about resilience with Dr. Jan, right? Yeah. And everyone that we interview and all of our own aha moments generally stem back to the fact that living an incredible life is not for the faint-hearted. But because of the stresses that a lot of people are going through these days, they become, for want of a better term, faint-hearted.
Yeah.
And that resilience diminishes. But I don't think anyone is born with a lack of resilience. I don't think we can enter the world, without sounding brutal, I don't think we can get through the vaginal canal, or we can actually come out of the belly
and give up.
Right? If there's not a level of resilience.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so how to a point can people go, all right, I'm hearing you, it makes sense, but I'm scared out of my wits to make that leap. And I think that's what we're trying to infer with Jan is like, I just freak out at the concept of hanging by a thread up Denali and the rest of it. Doesn't necessarily mean, there's certain parts of our lives where we're not prepared to be resilient in, and others that we are. But if someone's listening or watching and going, all right, like this is, I've heard this 100 times and I know I need to really heed this message. I must improve what I eat, or I must improve my movement habits or the rest. You see this every day, but let's come back to the core of it. As a causative factor, what must people do in order to improve that position?
You've got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, and I think you have to start with your inspiration, which is your purpose. And so for those that are purposeless...
Like, why in God's name are you actually going to improve it?
Yeah. Why would you? Like, what is it that compels you to get out of bed? What is it that compels you to lock the doors at night, or to turn the heating off, or whatever it is? Like, what is it that compels you to make your home safe? It's those same things that would compel you to make change in your life. It should be what you pin all of your hopes and dreams on, not just the possibility or the potential that maybe one day you might get there. But for me, it's for Jackson and for Amber, so they're my inspiration. What's your purpose? What's your inspiration? Once you've got your purpose and your inspiration, and I think this comes through what everybody that we've spoken to, and I'll look over to this sign, this poster here, because I look at all the people that we interviewed, their purpose. And when we spoke just with Noel, just the other day,
Noel
McMahon, legendary Melbourne footballer. He should have played for Richmond. We might have won a couple more premierships. Again, it came down to a purpose and an engagement and being involved. But he was able to, make decisions because it made him feel good. And you should be making decisions because it makes you feel good in the long term, not only just in the short term. So
when you say that about Amber and Jackson being your inspiration,
yes,
and I feel that with my family as well. This is to the point, but also a little bit unrelated. I generally talk to people about a technique. I don't know. I just call it text message, right? So you get your phone out and you're like, let's say someone to do this to Mayor and Darby. Dear Mayor and Darby, I just couldn't bear not smoking today. I couldn't do it. You know how much I love you guys, but I really had to smoke that cigarette. Hope you understand, and I really hope that the example that I'm setting for you is okay, even though I know it's not. But this is kind of the example that I'm going to set for you. Love your dad. In brackets, weak SHIT. Like, do you see?
Wow,
like,
that's powerful.
In terms of the accountability.
Yeah.
They're your inspiration, and this probably comes back to that podcast that we did where I said my purpose does sound a little bit creepily pain-based in terms of I don't want to write that text message. So it's not that I'm running away from that text message, but like what you say, your inspiration, your driving force is almost the example that you want to set to your family.
Yes.
And that example that I used was with a friend of mine who was breaking up with his wife, and all I said to him was, if you had to send your kids a text message, would you be able to say, kids, I have done everything in my power to keep this family unit together. And I can tell you right now as your father, I've put everything on the table. And for the best future of the family, your mum and I are not going to spend the rest of our lives together. And I can look you in the eye and say that is the case. Be happy to tell you that's the case, knowing that I've set the best example I possibly can. Can you write them that on a text message? And he said, and he could, and I was like, fabulous. So there's no mistakes. This is part of the process. You're ready to go. But I love that you and many others draw inspiration from your family, and it's other people. That's been a big theme, hasn't it? The concept of other people involved in your life purpose, whether it's living in a career in a village of 120 where everyone knows each other. Yeah. The success of life, the art of living, seems to come back to having other people inspire you.
That's right. Being part of a community that keeps you going, that gives you purpose. That's what it's all about. I love that. So to go back to that, just where would I start? I think that I would start with the easiest things. So obviously finding what your inspiration is very important, but start with the easy things. And so easy for me is getting up off the couch and going for a walk once a day. That's so easy. And even if, and I remember looking after a lady who weighed 272 kilograms when I first met her, Miranda Tafo, and she was in New Zealand, and she was the fattest woman in New Zealand. And the first thing that Leanne, who was our trainer on the TV show, got her to do was to just start walking. The thing that I had to do was to try and get her to start eating better. And whilst that's a big emotional hurdle for many people to start to eat better, once you start eating better, it's actually easy to make better decisions. But until you've actually done it, it seems like it's very, very difficult to do. It's taking that first step.
So because I cut you off on the Jan Smith episode.
Yeah.
Is there anything else from Jan?
It wasn't the first time. I mean, our watchers and our listeners know.
Our watchers, I like this. Our watchers or our viewers?
Our viewers, the people that are engaged with us, they know that's not the first time you've cut me off, Marcus.
Fair call.
Yeah.
Not intentionally. I like the way you say it. Pardon me for accidentally interrupting you or something.
Sorry for speaking while you're interrupting.
That's right.
Yes.
So was there something else from Jan that you learned that you wanted to share? Because I would hate to have doubly interrupted.
Thanks, Marcus. What I loved about her was her determination. And she had piercing eyes. You know, as she sat here and Marcus said, do you think you will, you'll do this? And she said, yes, I will absolutely, 100%, without a doubt, this is what her eyes were saying, I will absolutely climb that summit. I will summit it. That's what, and it was that determination, because in her fabric and in her fibers, she knows that's where she's going to be. She's probably seen herself there already, and we can't wait to be interviewing her again. But that was exciting to me because there was that 100% grit and determination, even at her age, to be wanting to summit another unbelievably tall mountain.
Speaking of determination,
yes,
I don't think it was a word that we used when we interviewed Amanda and Tez.
Oh my gosh!
But it's a feeling that I get on both sides, but particularly Amanda. 4th pregnancy.
Yeah.
2nd surrogacy.
Yes.
Life purpose on steroids. We both finished the interview going, what an incredible woman.
Yeah.
And a remarkable man. But let's talk about Amanda for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
The level of determination, for want of a better word, to go through the ups and downs of pregnancy, having never been pregnant and never will be, how to actually do that, particularly when and we didn't get to record these discussions, but when you know that once the baby is born, you're passing the baby on. That level of will, but also inspiration, it just blows my mind.
Full on, isn't it? full on. I was to have that 100% resolve that what you're doing is for somebody else, and that what you're creating and what you're helping to grow is a gift for somebody else. Even the discussion that we had afterwards, where Brett, is it Brett?
Brent, her husband.
Yeah, Brent. Amanda's husband wanted to be able to hand the baby over to Michael and to Tez as a gift. Like, this is our gift to you. That's amazing. That's 100% resolve and purpose with the reason why you're doing what you're doing.
So from that, then, as someone who will never be a surrogate, because I just don't have the
You haven't got the
gender
material.
for it, the materials, the raw materials,
no equipment for that.
So the lessons from that are when, like, in that level of life purpose, there's no going back. You know, like, cut off all options.
Yeah.
And that message really resonates with me.
Yeah.
I love, it sounds sadistic, but backing myself into a corner and knowing that there's no other options. And Amanda is in that case.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing, I mean, unless she's going to flee the country and all the rest of it, but we're talking about real world stuff, right? Yeah. I don't know about you, but it's a very biased view, but I believe that more people need to have a level of urgency or lack of choice, because so many people these days, particularly the people I work with that have a comfortable, safe job, sometimes the best thing for them to be, in order for them to live their best life, would be to lose their job, get the sack.
Yes.
Someone the other day, I'm not going to mention any names, but I had to pretty much, someone I was on the phone to the other day, and she will know who she is if she's listening or watching, was offered a redundancy of $40,000.
Right.
And she was questioning whether to take it. She did not like her job.
Oh, wow.
She knew that beyond her job, there was something else that she really wanted to do.
Yep.
But she wasn't sure if $40,000 was enough.
Right.
And I said, how much does it take you to cost to live each week? It was around about $800 a week.
Jeepers.
So I said,
got a
hold
year.
on a minute, you've got a year of living. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
And you can actually dedicate a year of your life, if you want to doing what you love, loving what you do, being the most incredible person that you want to be, dedicating your life to whatever you want.
That's it.
And then the worst case scenario, if you get to the end of the year, you go find another job.
Yeah.
But that would be not really learning the lessons. But that's beside the point.
Wow.
You've got a year. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I was like, it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
You don't need me on the other line to go, that's a no-brainer.
But that's, you know, what's interesting about that is that sometimes the answer stares you in the face, but someone else has to tell you. And so there's people that are listening to this and watching this that are thinking, oh, I don't know where to start. I don't know what I've got to do. But I think in almost every single case, because people are surrounded, and every person we've spoken to in every episode we've done, there's always been somebody else that can hold somebody else accountable.
Absolutely.
Well, not even accountable, just point you in the right direction. It's about opening your heart, opening your mind, opening yourself up to people who can help you and support you and hold your hand along the way.
Precisely. One more guest that we spoke about briefly, but I'd really like to just mention here is Robin Watley, the gold digger in Korea. And you just mentioned accountability. And she was saying that there's maybe one other couple in Ikaria who are born and bred Americans and don't have any Greek descent.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking that they have that accountability to live the Icarian lifestyle from the Icarians themselves without the Icarians having to lay on any accountability.
Yeah.
They're just living their normal life, and then the Watleys are assimilating with that. And just reminded me the power, and we talk about it all the time, the power of your peer group, of your social engagement to live your best life.
Yeah. Yeah, and transportability and flexibility. You know, those people that are inflexible, and you know, the ability to touch your toes is an incredible thing. Like, obviously that represents flexibility, but the ability to touch your toes is a very strong representation of the rigidity of your abdominal aorta, which is fascinating, right?
This is good. Go on to this.
Your abdominal aorta is...
Hold on. I'm just going to check if I can touch my toes whilst you do that.
Okay, I hope you can.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, good, great.
So now I want to know what this means.
He bent his knees. No, I'm
Hold
joking.
on.
Nah, he's all right. They weren't that bent.
So now everyone listening that either can or can't, they want to know what you're going to say here.
Yeah, so there's been studies that talk about the degree of rigidity or the thickening of the arterial walls of the abdominal aorta that correlates with your flexibility, your trunk flexibility. So the ability to touch your toes is a really good indicator of the rigidity of your aorta. Fascinating stuff, right? Fascinating stuff. So much so that the more you maintain flexibility, the more you retain pliability of your blood vessels, which is amazing. But the more you maintain flexibility in your life, I would suspect the more you maintain pliability in your lifestyle. And I love that.
Is that the same with they talk about with arthritis and rigidity as a metaphor for rigidity in life or way of living or viewpoints? You're saying a similar metaphor in terms of pliability or flexibility in an area of the body can be almost translated to pliability or flexibility in lifestyle, be it mental, emotional, or physical.
Yeah, maybe. Interesting, because arthritis, traditionally, if you look at Louise Hayes or Carolyn Misser's, information when they write about what a symptom might mean or a disease process might mean, that there is an indication that arthritis is, the chronic form of rigidity in your life. But some of the fittest people that I know are actually, they have arthritis in their fingers. And I was talking to a great mate of mine, also a practice member at my practice, and we're discussing arthritis in the fingers because they actually had arthritis in their fingers. Yeah. And I know that this person is so fit. CrossFit, does everything, stays really, really well, excellent mindset. But I just wonder whether or not there is rigidity in there because... I tend to agree with that metaphor. And but this guy I thought was, in particular, very, very flexible. So maybe there's something to that, Marcus Pearce.
We're going to learn a lot about this when we're in Ikaria, because I think when we go and observe all of that, this is kind of why I get so excited about it, is because we're going to get to observe so many things that we think or we think we might know, but then we get to observe this. When Robin spoke about 8,000 people, 62 villages in that 8,000. It's about 120, 130 people per village.
Yeah, magic numbers.
Magic numbers, incredible numbers. But I'm curious to see people that have arthritis, but are 100. They seem to just, probably like you were saying about your colleagues earlier, your acquaintances, just push on regardless of the fact.
Yeah.
And one of our guests who we haven't interviewed yet, Billy Jordan, who looks after the oldest hip-hop group in New Zealand.
I can't wait to interview her.
Now, half of them have got arthritis, dementia, and she's saying you can still do things. Yeah. And so it's not a death sentence.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Look, I'm fascinated to learn whether or not in Ikaria you can reverse the aging process and if you can reverse the disease process. I'm fascinated to find that out because I actually wanted to ask Robin that. I wanted to ask her when she moved to Ikaria, did she find that any of her ailments retract? Has she noticed that other people around don't complain about aches and pains? She spoke about Yaya or grandmother and she said that a spoon of honey every single day is what keeps her healthy. And then she went back to her weaving of the sock, or unweaving of the sock. And so I'm looking forward to hearing about those sorts of things. Yeah.
So there was one question I wanted to ask you.
Yep.
And it's promised just one.
Okay.
So 100 not out is 3 years young.
That's amazing.
And I think we would both agree, and all of our listeners and viewers would agree, that there's been a lot of learnings.
Yeah.
A lot of learnings. What do you think... And you've just mentioned a couple of things in terms of what we think we might learn at Ikaria. Do you think you can wave your crystal ball and think anything that you might consider that you might learn over the next 3 years? It's a bit hard to say what do you think you might learn. Well, it's hard to know until we go through it. But is there anything that you're really curious to find out about over the next 2 or 3 years in this space? Because when we first started, we kind of smashed the nutrition myth that, eating right was the haven and fountain of youth, and we kind of smashed that one pretty quickly. Very quickly. And then we saw the power of exercise and purpose and engagement and the rest. Yeah. Do you think, we're both very curious people by nature. Do you think there's other things that we're going to learn over the next 3 years, or do you think a lot of what we have learned will just be reinforced? I think we're uncovering very clearly the secrets to longevity. I don't think there's going to be many more pearls of wisdom that people are going to say, this is the one thing. I think the themes that came through in the first few episodes of 100 Not Out will still remain the same. But hearing other people share their stories, I think will inspire us to do different things. Yeah. I think what's happened, particularly with me, and not moving away from nutrition, because, in writing my book, which I am currently doing, it's a nutrition book. But it's probably more around lifestyle, but the philosophy of lifestyle and nutrition. I've become more philosophical in the observation of what is
I suppose the practice of everybody else living their life. And I've become much, much, much less judgmental as a result of, investigating other people's lifestyles. And I feel really blessed for being part of 100 Not Out. So Marcus, thanks so much
my pleasure,
for creating this, because without this, I think I might have been even more rigid about nutrition, and I might have gone down an avenue. Maybe it was paleo, or maybe it was veganism, or maybe it was something else, but remaining omnivorous and relatively laissez-faire around my meals and my lifestyle, I think has allowed me lots of flexibility and pliability.
Well, all I'm going to say on that, if the Vietnamese lamb salad that we had last night is laissez-faire, and the incredible chicken soba noodle, basil, mint, green salad that you just whipped up out of the herb garden.
And the kale eggs this morning.
Oh, the kale eggs this morning. I tell you what, Damo's version of laissez-faire is absolutely incredible. So I love it, and it's been incredible 3 years, and let's bring on another 3, 5, 10, 20 years. Let's be doing this when we're 104 years of age and weaving rugs.
If we've still got Apple Mac computers and we're using microphones when we're 104, I'll be surprised. But let's keep on doing it. I love it.
It's been an incredible journey. Thanks again for your wisdom and for your insights. Thanks again for your support over these 3 years. It's been so valued, and without your support, we would not be still here. So thank you to the viewer, to the listener, to the supporter of 100 Not Out. Thank you, as always, to your incredible business, Forage, Damo, because you've been such a great supporter. You fed so many people around Australia and New Zealand, and it's been a remarkable alignment to have Forage on board for such a long time.
Well, it's my pleasure, and so thanks so much, Marcus.
And I don't say that from an advertising perspective, because I don't know if the people listening know, but you give away thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars of forage every year. Just at the recent Wellness Breakthrough, I calculated over $1,000 just in giveaway, not sell. And that's not just from a branding strength perspective, that's pure from generosity from the heart, just for showing thanks and support. So I just think it's remarkable. And,
thank you, mate. Thank you.
It's
a big vision. It's part of my vision, it's part of my purpose, it's part of my mission is to help people eat great food. So this helps me, and I know that for those of you who are eating it and supporting the brand, you're part of my vision and mission too. So thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There are many ways to connect with us, guys. You can go to facebook.com/100 Not Out. Check us out at thewellnesscouch.com, where you can view the entire range of wellness podcasts available. And again, to learn more about Damien and myself, go to DamienChristoff.com for Damo and MarcusPearce.com.au for moi. Until next week, may the rest of your life be the best of your life. Hey!
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.